buy all of the things I never had. I wanna be on the cover of Forbes magazine, smiling next to
Welcome back to the
Oprah
Credit Gal
and the
Show on your
Queen.
hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm your host, Darbe Nokes, and we were talking before the break with Sandy Bowie. She's the Vice President at Union Bank of Commercial Lending. And tell us what we were talking about before with all those numbers.
So we were talking about when a business owner goes to buy a commercial building to basically put his own business in there. So he or she needs to occupy a minimum of 50% of the square footage of the property. And there are a couple of ways to finance that sort of business. One, if there's something called SBA 504 financing, where a business owner can put down as little as 10%.
10%?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Get 90% financing. So it so makes sense rather than paying rent to a landlord where you have no control over the rent increases.
And
You
this is
have-
directly with Union Bank.
Yes,
And-
well, yes,
I
yes.
mean,
We
you-
hold the 50% of the purchase price. So, and then there's the SBA comes in with the 40%. So the
Okay.
business owner is putting in 10%. Now that's one way to do it.
Okay.
There are kind of some unsavory fees that small business owners get a little bit frustrated with the SBA 504 product on that 40%. It's a great loan because you have to come up with little money, but there are some fees
Well,
involved.
you can't have everything in life.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Exactly.
So the other way to do it, to minimize the fees, is to have a little more down in the transaction.
Okay.
If you have 25% to put down of the purchase price, Union Bank can then explore financing 75% of the purchase price.
75% of the purchase price?
Yes, ma'am.
That is great. And we were talking a little bit earlier, Patty and Sandy, we were talking about Union Bank being the only bank that in the debacle crisis that did
We were
not...
conservative bank, absolutely.
Okay.
We did
We're
not.
one of two.
Yes,
Okay.
we did not do subprime loans. We portfolio our residential loans. Union Bank is now about a $95 billion bank. We have a lovely presence in the Valencia Valley. We have 3 locations, one Canyon Country, Newhall, Valencia, the one right across the street from the mall, very well established.
And we were talking earlier how people bank for convenience. I have another bank, the ones that start with the letter A and some of them start all the way to the letter Z. I'm not going to mention the bank, but it's because it's down the street.
Yeah, it's convenient.
But you really need to think about having a relationship with your bank. There is a relationship there, establishing some accounts. It's a long-term relationship, obviously, in your life with commercial lending and personal lending and all of this. And I just
should be.
It should be.
It's something that should not be all about convenience. You should put more thought into it. Establish a relationship
Yes.
with the branch manager, with the commercial banking people if you're a business owner.
Yes.
Because
Because when there's a time of crisis, you're going to want to talk to a person. You're not going to want to say 1-800-HELP-ME because you're going to get
2.
an operator. Yeah.
Press 2.
Yeah.
You
don't want that.
need-
You want a person.
And
it's like,
Patty, I want to talk to you, but I don't have a crisis right now. We'll talk anyway. And Cindy, you too.
Yeah.
Well, I thank
Yeah.
y'all. You gave me so much, me and everybody else, I'm sure, so much wonderful information today. I thank you, but we have a wonderful guest today.
Darbe.
His name's Greg Duncan. He's Special Ops Coast Guard tactic instructor. And, for the Military Week in honor of Memorial Day Remembrance, Greg Duncan, good morning.
Good morning. It is still morning.
It is kind of still morning.
Somewhere.
Somewhere in the world. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. You mentioned the thing that I'm still a reserve officer with the Coast Guard, 25 years and counting,
Okay.
and currently assigned to Pacific Command, which is it's PACOM, it's a joint command. It's actually in Hawaii. So
nice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're in Hawaii.
tough
So when
deal.
you go
You got it
back
rough.
to work, you have to go back to Hawaii?
That is true with the Coast Guard. So I get to go to Hawaii every couple months and serve my country, do my job, and contribute to the team.
So you're not retired. You are on active duty.
But now I'm a reserve officer, so I was on active duty
Okay.
until about 7 years ago, and then I jumped into a phenomenal opportunity in corporate America for about 6 years, and then today I'm a reserve officer, also an actor,
Okay.
producer, and technical or consultant advisor.
And in your free time, it sounds like. And I want to cover before the break. I want to cover how hard is it, when the vets are returning, to get back into society.
It's not difficult because it is something that's happening, and it is happening. And I just left an event this morning on the entertainment side because we are expecting 1 million vets to come back home over the next 5 to 7 years. Jobs for that is super important. So a lot of the resources are there. Our president is supporting it. Our first lady's supporting with all the initiatives to get vets. And big time vets contribute. Vets are an asset.
Big time asset.
And so from what we're talking about to jobs, to community, to service, and then service within a new job in transition, not that difficult, so to speak, but it's the resources are there. And then from a human resources side as well, for all of the branches, one of the stops before you get out off active duty is that transitional resource, which they talk about and prepare some of the things you guys are talking about today. So it's a perfect segue.
Well, I love that. And, when basically we have a lot to talk about, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm excited that you're on the show. We are going to go to break. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Credit Gal on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.